The human brain is the most remarkable machine in the universe. And your brain is actually a biological antenna. And it's guided by two things. Number one is sunlight, and the second is a fat found in the ocean. And these two things have led to the creation of the most remarkable machine in the history of the universe. And we're literally losing our brains these days. Like literally our brains are shrinking as a species because we're not getting enough of these two nutrients. And this is causing a lot of the problems with low energy and brain fog that a lot of people are experiencing in modern society. And the human brain actually grew incredibly fast by evolutionary standards in sort of the blink of an eye. And it's because of these two things. So the first I mentioned is sunlight, and the second is a fat in the ocean called DHA, or docosahexaenoic acid. And it is found in things like fish and shellfish, and it was pivotal to the explosive growth in the human brain over the last several 100,000 years. There's a neurosurgeon by the name of Dr. Jack Kruse, and he writes a lot about this field called quantum biology. It's about how light interacts with biology. And according to him, if you're not getting DHA and sunlight in your daily environment, then it doesn't matter how expensive the fish oils you're buying are and how much you're using, you're not going to be healthy. So I'm using a character named Kael. He's an Australopithecine, and I want to use him to represent the evolutionary arc of the human species. And these guys lived about 5 million years ago. They were the precursors to later forms of human beings, and eventually us, Homo sapiens. And he's the model for our biology over the last several million years. So you can imagine this guy, this proto-human, and he's on the African savanna a few million years ago, and he's getting full spectrum sunlight in his eyes and on his skin every single day. And he's eating a lot of food rich in DHA, like the shellfish and the fish along the African Rift Valley and along the coastline in East Africa. And this combination of equatorial sunlight, the strong sun, and also the DHA and the seafood along the coast is what led to the explosive growth of the brain, which allowed someone like Kael, the Australopithecine, to become more complex forms, which eventually turned into modern human beings with our extremely complex brains. But wait, it gets even crazier because DHA doesn't just sit there in the brain. It actually turns light into electrical signals in our brains, and it allows our brains to process information faster because our thoughts are really just electrical signals that go from neuron to neuron in our brains. So in a sense, the DHA in our brains, which comes from the food and also from the sun, turns light into thoughts and feelings, literally. And if we fast forward to today, a lot of us are living under artificial light for most of the day in the office or at home. We're not getting the signals from the sun that we need. And most of us aren't eating enough seafood every week. We should be having a few servings a week, and I'm going to get more into how we should be eating towards the end of this video. But a lot of us are suffering from modern diseases because we're not getting these two essential nutrients in our lives. So because a lot of us aren't getting the full spectrum sunlight that we need and we're not consuming enough DHA, a lot of people suffer from things like brain fog, low energy, and it's just a mismatch with how we evolved. So most important thing is the sun, prioritizing the sun, and especially morning sun, because morning sun has a lot of infrared light in it, and infrared light interacts with DHA in a very specific way. Second thing is try to eat as much seafood as you can. I would say at least 2 to 3 servings a week. Me personally, I eat a can of sardines every day. I love sardines, but I know a lot of people don't like sardines. But I would prioritize deep ocean, cold water, small fish, things like anchovies, sardines, mackerel, even salmon is fantastic. It's loaded with DHA. And try to get as much of that as you can, preferably every day. If you're not much of a fish eater, maybe shellfish. If you like shrimp, that's also really good. Crabs are great. But anything that's a marine animal has high concentrations of DHA. Also, organ meats from animals, especially liver, also is high in DHA, but it's not nearly as high as what you'd find in aquatic food. And third thing is eat local if you can. If you've got a farmer's market near you, try to go as much as you can. I would say if you're on a budget and you can't afford to eat local, then the next best thing is to just buy fresh organ meats from your local grocery store, and that'll get you most of the way. These small, consistent actions with lightened food can dramatically improve the way your brain works and consequently the way you feel and the way you think. In the next episode, I'm going to explain what happened when our ancestors, these Australopithecines, left the equator and migrated northward to become some of these groups that they later evolved into, like Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and the Neanderthals. But by migrating northward, they lost a lot of these signals from the sun, because the sun has different wavelengths up north. It's a lot weaker. There's not as much infrared and UV in the atmosphere during the middle of the day. So these guys weren't getting the same signals that they were getting on the equator. And it's led to human beings being less optimal. Now, the different groups did adapt to their environments over time, but it still was not as ideal as the groups that were on the equator. And by the way, all scientific references to this information are in the description. In my, I've got a link to my Substack article with all science references for this information. So if you want to take a look at that, just look in the description and click on the link and check out my Substack.